Welcome to another deep dive. This time, we'll be exploring a play that really gets people talking. Henrik Ibsen's A Doll's House.
Yeah, this one's a classic for a reason. It makes you question everything you thought you knew about society.
Right, and we're not messing around with summaries or analyses here. We're going straight to the source, the ebook itself, right from Project Gutenberg.
Love that.
So get ready for some serious drama.
Well, what strikes me is how Ibsen sets the scene, right? It's Christmas time, a middle-class home. You think it's all going to be happy and cozy, but he uses that to expose these big societal issues.
Yeah, it's like he's peeling back the layers of this perfect holiday picture to show what's really going on underneath.
Exactly.
And then we meet Nora Helmer. She's so excited for Christmas, spending money, enjoying herself. It seems like she has a carefree life. And Torvald, her husband, calls her his little skylark.
It all feels so idyllic at first.
It does. But Ibsen's clever. He uses that to set us up for something completely different. Then Mrs. Lynde shows up, an old friend of Nora's, and she needs a job.
And you see right away their experiences are so different.
Absolutely. Mrs. Lynde shows us how hard life can be for women, especially back then. Nora seems even more sheltered and maybe a little naive next to her.
It makes you wonder, is Nora really happy? Or is she just living in this bubble, this illusion?
And that's when those cracks start to show. Remember when Torvald gets mad at Nora for spending too much? He says, "No debts, no borrowing." Seems like a simple comment about money, but there's a lot more to it.
Oh, totally. Because that line shows us the power dynamics in their marriage. Torvald's in control of everything, the money, the rules. He treats Nora like a child.
It's like he's created this doll's house for her to live in, and she doesn't even realize she's trapped.
And then, boom, the big reveal. Nora tells Mrs. Lynde that she secretly borrowed money to save Torvald's life.
Wow, yeah. That moment completely changes how we see Nora.
Right. She's resourceful, brave, and Torvald has no idea.
And it was a big deal for a woman to take out a loan back then, especially without her husband knowing. It shows how desperate she was.
Absolutely. And it gets even crazier when we find out she forged her father's signature for the loan. She risked everything to protect Torvald and keep up this perfect image of their life.
But that one act of desperation, it sets everything in motion. It's going to unravel everything.
And then there's Nils Krogstad. He's the one who gave Nora the loan. A bank employee, but he's got a shady past.
Yeah, and now Torvald wants to fire him, which is really bad news for Nora.
Because Krogstad sees an opportunity. Blackmail. He threatens to tell everyone Nora's secret if she doesn't help him keep his job.
Talk about pressure, and it shows just how vulnerable women were back then.
Exactly. He knows everyone will blame Nora, not Torvald.
So Nora tries everything she can to convince Torvald to keep Krogstad. But he's stubborn, he won't listen, he doesn't realize the danger they're both in.
And to make things even more complicated, Ibsen throws Dr. Rank into the mix, this family friend who's in love with Nora.
Oh yeah, Dr. Rank. He adds another layer to everything. His love is sad and unrequited. He just watches their marriage from the outside. And it feels like something bad is about to happen.
And his love for Nora is so different from Torvald's possessive love.
Yeah.
It shows how men can have power over women in different ways.
It's amazing how Ibsen ties all these characters and stories together. So much going on. Secrets, desperation, strained relationships. And we haven't even gotten to the big confrontation.
It's a powder keg ready to explode.
And it all starts when Krogstad drops the letter with Nora's secret into the mailbox.
That's it. The clock is ticking now.
So Act 2 of A Doll's House just keeps getting more intense.
It really does. And, in this act, it's not just about the external problems Nora's facing.
It's more internal now.
Yeah, she's wrestling with this huge secret, the consequences of her actions.
And thinking about who she even is.
Exactly. And her interactions with Dr. Rank really show that.
Oh yeah, his confession of love for her.
Totally throws her for a loop, right?
It does. It's kind of sweet that he cares about her, but she's not in love with him.
And she realizes she can't give him what he wants, which must be hard.
Definitely. It makes her think about what choices she even has in her life.
She's trapped, by society, by money, by Torvald, and how he manipulates her.
And it's like she's finally starting to see that, how these things have shaped who she is.
It's so sad because you can tell she wants a real connection with someone.
She does. But everyone around her just treats her like a fragile little doll.
Someone to admire, but not to take seriously.
Which brings us back to Torvald.
Yeah, his reaction to that letter is huge, a turning point in the whole play.
When he finally reads it and finds out Nora's secret, I was not expecting that.
I know. No love, no support, just anger and fear.
It's like his concern for her just vanished.
He's totally focused on himself, on what other people will think.
He even says she's poisoned their home, like
Yeah.
it's all her fault.
So much hypocrisy, right? He says he adores her, calls her his little songbird.
But the second she does something he doesn't like, something that challenges him.
His love is gone. It's all about appearances for him.
And for Nora, that's gotta be devastating.
It is. She finally sees him for what he really is. Shallow, selfish.
And it's a wake-up call for her, too. She starts to understand herself better.
This is where Ibsen really drives home the theme of gender inequality.
Oh, absolutely. Torvald is like a symbol of the whole patriarchal society back then.
Controlling women, keeping them in their place.
And Nora forging that signature, that was a direct challenge to that system.
And now she's realizing she can't keep living this lie, being the doll everyone expects her to be.
It's a huge decision, leaving everything behind like that.
But Ibsen doesn't give us easy answers.
He makes us think about Nora's choices, about right and wrong, about the pressures she's facing.
And at the end of Act 2, Nora's at a crossroads.
The truth is out, the perfect life is over.
And she has to decide what she's going to do next.
Her whole world is falling apart.
The doll's house is crumbling, and Nora is ready to break free.
But what's going to happen to her, we'll find out in the final act. So here we are, the final act of A Doll's House. And things are about to get real.
There's so much anticipation, right? Nora's seeing the truth about her marriage, about Torvald, about everything.
And now we're all wondering, what's she going to do?
This act is amazing. So much tension, so much emotion. Ibsen doesn't hold back.
He really doesn't. Remember how Torvald acted when he thought everything was fine?
Oh, when Krogstad took back the accusation.
Yeah, he was so relieved, like it never even happened, wanted to go right back to how things were.
But that shows how differently they see this situation.
Exactly. For Torvald, it was over. But for Nora, it was just the beginning.
And then we get this incredible scene, the confrontation, Nora and Torvald. It's like two worlds colliding.
It's more than just a fight between a husband and wife.
So much more. Nora's finally ready to speak her mind. She's done with the lies.
And she doesn't hold back. She calls Torvald out on everything, all those years of him controlling her, manipulating her.
It's powerful stuff.
Remember that line, "I have been living with a stranger and borne him 3 children." Wow.
That line just cuts right through you. It sums up her whole journey from being completely in the dark to this moment of painful clarity.
She's not a child anymore. She wants to be her own person. And Torvald
He has no idea what to do. He can't handle it.
tries to reason with her, tell her she needs to be a good wife and mother. But it's too late for that.
It's like they're speaking different languages now.
He's stuck in the old way of thinking, all about duty and expectations. And Nora, she's talking about freedom, about finding herself.
And that's why she makes the decision she does. To leave. To leave Torvald, to leave her children.
It's such a shocking moment. Even now, it's hard to process.
Back then, it must have been even more scandalous. But for Nora, it's the only choice.
She can't live in that doll's house anymore. She needs to escape, to figure out who she really is.
And when she walks out that door, it's like this huge weight has been lifted. But it's also uncertain, right? What's going to happen to her?
Exactly. Ibsen leaves it open-ended. We don't know what the future holds for Nora, but she's free.
And it makes you think, what will she do? What challenges will she face? Will she find happiness?
And it makes you think about your own life, too. What are the doll's houses we live in? What expectations hold us back?
Yeah, are we brave enough to break free? To walk away from everything we know? To find our own truth?
A Doll's House is such a powerful play. It makes you question everything.
And it's still relevant today. All those themes, gender roles, societal pressures, individual freedom, they're all still so important.
It really makes you think. And that's what we hope this deep dive has done for you. Got you thinking about your own life, your own choices.
It's a play that stays with you long after you've read it.
Absolutely. So next time you're feeling stuck, remember Nora, remember her courage, her determination to find herself. Maybe it'll inspire you to break free from your own doll's house.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure. Until next time.